Hi guys, welcome back to Liming with Courtney. Today I'd like to talk to you about my experience getting the second dose of the Astra Zeneca vaccine. If you watched my first video, then you would know all the symptoms I had after being injected with the vaccine the first time around. This time I can say that I had a much better experience. Yes, sis, yes. So your girl is fully vaccinated. Um, I didn't have much of an issue. I decided to go earlier than my scheduled time for taking the vaccine because I had an appointment on the day that I should have gotten my vaccine, which would not make me available to go. So I decided to go a day before. And I was in the walk-in line, that's what they called it, at the facility that I went. And it was a fairly good process. They put you in a queue. Then you go to submit your form where you take whether or not you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, and a few other things like your emergency contact, your address, name, date of birth, etc. After you submit that, you are then placed under a tent, given a number, and once your number is called, you would go to the nurse who interviews you. So the nurse interviewed me to ask me what were the side effects that I experienced after getting the first vaccine. And when I told her, she was like, no, you're not. Basically, she was saying, no, you don't need to tell me all the symptoms that are in the pamphlet. I'm like, no, but I'm telling you all the symptoms I had. Yeah, I was ticking off all the symptoms in the pamphlet. So that was it. They had a laugh. Like, all the other nurses looked at me like, are you for real? Those were the symptoms that you had? Yeah. Trust me. I wouldn't lie. But anyway. So after I told the nurse the symptoms that I had, I told her that it really just lasted a day. So she said, okay, fine. She wrote down the information, got the specific date that I experienced the symptoms, and then I was told to go to another section where my temperature was checked. Once I was of an okay temperature, I was invited to enter into the room where the vaccine was being administered. Once we got into the room, well, several of us, I think it was about 15, there was sufficient social distancing between us or amongst us. And the doctor came in, gave us a little talk, said that, you might be excited about being fully vaccinated because she inquired from us if we had received the first dosage. And we're like, yeah, we've been here before. Like, we are professionals by this point. So then she's like, all right, so I know you want to celebrate that you're fully vaccinated, but you cannot have any alcohol for 2 days. I'm glad she told us that because, yeah, your girl was going to celebrate. I don't really like alcohol, but I was going to probably like drink a glass of wine or a Smirnoff Ice. Yeah. And she told us, of course, to maintain your water intake and take your Panadol, blah, 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 right? Then we got our shot. And they told us that in order to vaccine card, we must ensure that we get the stamp because the stamp is what shows that we are fully vaccinated. Anyway, then we went into the observation room where we had to stay for 15 minutes. And it's not because people wanted to see if you're going to start twitching or foaming at the mouth, but it was just to make sure that we were okay. Whilst we were waiting, I saw that they were writing up the cards, and then they called you by name, and that was it. Anyway, so the next day, which is what I was really concerned about, because when I got the first dose, the day following the dose, well, me receiving the dose, that is when I had the horrible symptoms. So I was just like, yo, let this be good. And as I said, I had a meeting that day. I had court that day. So I'm just like, listen, You better power through, girl. You better power through. Anyway, thankfully, I didn't have any symptoms. I'm not going to say any lie. I did not take the Panadol like the doctor told me to do. So about 10 o'clock, which was 24 hours after getting the second dose of the vaccine, I started to feel pain, and then I was like, oh yeah, I really need to take my Panadol. So I took the Panadol, drank some water, and honestly, like, the pain subsided. The only issue that I had is that I felt a little bit of nausea as a result of taking the Panadols, but then I suffer from nausea generally, so it's just like another day for me. But I try to maintain the schedule that I had set up for myself in relation to taking the Panadol. The only other symptom that I had was just, I had flu-like symptoms, but very mild. Like, my throat was just a little sore, but I do talk a lot, so maybe that's why. But anyway, my throat was a little sore, and I felt a little sniffle. And Jamaica is very, very hot, so I was just wondering, like, am I getting hot flashes again? But I realized that no, girl, like, summer starts like tomorrow, so that's why you were hot. So anyway, I'm very happy. I'm fully vaccinated. I hope that more countries will be open to recognizing persons who took the Astra Zeneca vaccine, because I do want to start traveling again. I know that in Jamaica right now, the policy is that if you're fully vaccinated and you travel overseas, you're supposed to quarantine for 8 days. Of course, these policies change from time to time, so we don't know what the situation will be 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, 3 years from now, because, yeah, COVID will be with us for a while. But I had a good experience, and today is what, 3 days since I got my second dose, and I seem quite fine, right? I'm feeling good. So that's it from me. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna try and link the previous video, as in my video on the first dose, right below, so that you can watch it and see exactly what I was talking about this entire video about my symptoms, because y'all need to be watching the videos. And don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share. Until next time, this has been Liming with Courtney. Bye. Why do I say bye like that? When I bye. Yo, later. See?